And hey there, folks, this is Omega here, and welcome to my post E3 reaction. Um, with all, day one of E3 is all done. We went and watched, or at least I watched, two out of the four conferences. I watched a little bit of E3, EA, and Ubisoft's, but I mostly try to put my main attention at Microsoft and Sony because they're the ones that are giving you the consoles. But anyways, what I want to start with is Microsoft because they're the one that started out first. But I just want to talk about the conferences and talk a little bit about what they showed off, and maybe do a letter grade for it and all that. But let's just get started here. With Microsoft, they started out with a bang. I really love that they did that. They started out with Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, which they showed a gameplay trailer where, Snake is in the desert, or yeah, kind of like a Western style looking area, and it reminds me of Red Dead a bit. It's open world from what it looked like. It's open world. And they do like little cool, stealth techniques. Like there were two guards riding horses coming towards them, and then he swapped to the side of the horse and then just walked, ran by, which is kind of weird. Like, what the hell is that horse doing there, anyways? But anyways, then there's part where they're seeing him like going into a car, and then this part of this where he has his mission he's doing, and all that, and it was pretty cool. I liked that. It looked pretty good. And that game is, I think it's coming out for, pretty sure, Xbox One and PS4, Xbox 360, and PS3. And I'm not sure if it's coming out for PC too. I probably will, but and the next thing they talked about was the Xbox 360. They had they're making a new model for it, and I don't think I caught the price for that. I don't think I did. And then they were talking about after they showed off the console, the new Xbox Slim or whatever, Xbox 360 Slim, or I don't know. They talked about World of Tanks for the Xbox 360, and then they talked about there's a few more other games. I cannot remember what they were, but anyways, we'll just keep going around this list here. They showed off Dark Souls 2. They showed a pretty cool trailer for that. You pretty much find these up in YouTube. If you have, go to IGN, GameSpot, whatever, these big, websites, they all have those trailers. So head over there if you guys want to watch these trailers, because they're pretty cool. Like mostly Dark Souls 2 one. And then we saw a Rise a trailer, or actually a trailer then. Was it a trailer? I don't think it was a trailer. It was a gameplay, and I'm not too impressed. It looks good, but I'm just not too impressed on how the gameplay is. The Crytek guys usually make really good looking games, but their gameplay is usually pretty mesh. But we have to wait and see to see more of the game. After that, it's the biggest review ever. I guess I called it wrong. I said it's going to be a new Conquer game from Rare, but it was Killer Instinct, and they showed it off, and they showed off trailer, and they showed him fighting, and then to tell you the truth, I'm not too impressed with that. It looks a little bit more like a Street Fighter game, or at least aesthetically, it looks like a Street Fighter, maybe closer to Street Fighter Cross Tekken, but it still had all the combo breaker and all that. So maybe I'll look into that. But to me, I don't know. Killer Instinct just I've been playing that a lot of time, so much back in the past. I don't think I even want to even play it anymore. But we'll see. Then they showed off a little bit of Battlefield 4. They showed off actually more than you think. They went through the building or like a ship. And then they drove their whatever boat or whatever, and they started shooting things down. But Battlefield looks good, and it was all running at 60 frames per second, so it looked silky smooth. and we're probably going to see that on the consoles itself. So both consoles will probably run 60 frames per second. It's nothing new. It's really true. Everybody's excited for it. You know, the PC guys have seen this all already, so it's really nothing new. I've seen 60 frames per second. It's nothing new. Then the next one is Dead Rising 3. It looked pretty good. They showed off Dead Rising 3, and so far these are all exclusives except for Dead Souls 2 and Metal Gear. So just to put that into your perspective, Dead Rising 3, so as far as we know, is exclusive to the Xbox One, which is I would love to play Dead Rising 3, but so the trailer started out with him and maybe walking into the backyard, and there's like maybe 3 zombies there, and then he knocks them out, then boom, a bunch of zombies just came through, and there's like maybe like 30-40 zombies, and then he runs through a gate, and there's like another 40-50 zombies coming in, and that zombie population was huge. And then he climbed on top of the house, and you can just see all the zombies just like spread all over the place. I was wishing that the Dead Rising 3 wasn't exclusive to the Xbox One, but fortunately it is, and I'll probably get to play later on. I'll probably buy Xbox One, but it'll probably be maybe a year or two down the line. So, but yeah, Dead Rising 3 looks awesome. That's probably out of all the games there, other than Metal Gear Solid 5, Dead Rising 3 was one that was like, oh my gosh, it looked nice. The next, maybe I'll save that one for towards the last. They showed off Forza 5. They showed off, they have a special partner deal with Maserati and all that. And they showed off some gameplay for it. I don't know if this is watching from Spike. I was watching this one from Spike because my live feed was a little bit behind, so I'm going to go grab some food, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to do a Spike, and there was like maybe a few minutes ahead, so I didn't watch this on Spike, but I don't know, it looked a little cartoony at times. I don't, I'll wait till the finished product, but I know it's not supposed to be a simulation, but anyways, to me it looked a little cartoony. The next up would be they showed off Sunset Overdrive. It's made by the Insomnia guys, the guys who did the Resistance and the Ratchet and Clank and the new game on Fuse. They showed that one looked pretty interesting actually. He had a guy who was doing parkour, jumping off walls and stuff, and then he lands on the ground, and then he's fighting up these like aliens or zombies. I don't know what they are. They're just like these creatures, and he's using some like weird weaponry. Then this guy pops out and he's using this gun that has vinyl records, and he's shooting them at. And then he puts, he had like a shotgun type of gun, or I don't know what it was, and then this chick comes in and throws him this power drink, or energy drink. He loads it up and shoots it. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So at least they're bringing back those, funny, funky guns that they're so good at making back in the Ratchet and Clank days, and it's just cool seeing that. And that wasn't a gameplay trailer; that was just a straight up trailer itself. Yeah, like I said, I don't know if it's exclusive or not. They didn't talk about it. And then, like I said, I don't know if it's exclusive or not. But let's move along here. They got the new game from it's called D4. I think maybe it's one of those Xbox Live games. It's made by the guys who did Deadly Premonition. And it's just all cell shaded. They didn't go through too much of it. They showed a quick trailer, and it was like this chick who's dressed up like a cat or something, bouncing around. I'm like, okay, whatever. But it's the guys that made Deadly Premonition, so they're a little weird. But but the next game would be Quantum Break. They showed off a quick trailer, no gameplay trailer at all. It was just a quick CG trailer of the We still don't know what it is. We know it's a shooter. We don't know if it's a first-person shooter or third-person. I think it's a third-person shooter. But the trailer was pretty cool. They walked in, and then they had this lady up in midair, and everything's frozen, and he grabs a hold of her, and he's like, if you let go, something's going to happen. So and he grabs her, and everything's like I said, stopped, and Everything is time stopped. So, but like I said, we still don't know what the heck is going. What the heck the game is. Usually Remedy are pretty good with Alan Wake. So, hopefully it's good. Hopefully we see more of it. Maybe Gamescom. I know it won't be a TGS for sure, but just hopefully we see more of it. It's probably not a launch title though. I don't think it is. Okay, so they also showed off a game called Project Spark. Fortunately, I didn't get to see too much of it because I went to grab something from the basement. So by the time I got back, I didn't see all of it. But you could create things with a tablet and all that. It's a Windows 8 and Xbox One game, so you can use the Windows tablet to do whatever you want to do, touchscreen and all that, and then build little. I don't know. I don't even know what to explain for that. Fortunately, I missed out on that one. Then they showed off Witcher 3. They showed off a gameplay for that. Gameplay trailer, I should say. Then it just cuts from the gameplay of Witcher 3, and then showed off the new Plants vs. Zombie, which is pretty cool. It's called Plants vs. Zombie. I think it was Garden Warfare, and the first thing they did was they showed off almost like a Battlefield there. Everybody's like, "Oh, it's probably Battlefield 4," and then it and then it popped up with a zombie. You're like, "Oh my gosh, it's Plants vs. Zombie," and they changed the format of it to where it's a third-person shooter, so you can see your character and you're just shooting things. It's pretty cool. Fortunately, like I said, I missed a part of it. My brother was watching. He's like, "Oh man, the game looks pretty tight." I mean, when you go, there's like a perk, or not a perk, but like a kill streak you can do, and you call in like a sunflower, shoots like a helicopter. And so I'm like, "Oh, that sounds pretty cool." But so far, as far as I know, it's a Xbox 360 and Xbox One game. Pretty sure it's going to come out for the other consoles for PS3 and PS4 and PC, because those games were out for those consoles too, or platforms. Then the next one would be Titanfall, which everybody was up in arms about that. I just can't see how good it is. Maybe I'm just looking at it wrong. It just looks like Call of Duty with mechs. The Respawn guys are pretty good. I mean, they did make one of my favorite Call of Duty games. And then they went to... Did they make Modern Warfare 2? I think they did, which was horrible. Not horrible, but it just wasn't up to par with Modern Warfare. But I couldn't get it to it. It just looks like a... it just looks very Call of Duty-ish. That's all I'm gonna say. It's very twitchy looking, and but with mechs, and you can jump off walls and stuff. That's the coolest. That's the cool aspect of it. Doing a little parkour kind of with your jetpack. You can jump off walls, and then board mechs, and then it becomes it's almost like an Armored Core kind of deal, or maybe that front mission involved. But yeah, it's. I don't know. I just maybe I need to see more of it, but. Or at least get the whim of the story, but from what I've seen, it just looks like Call of Duty, and like I said, I played a lot of Call of Duty back then, and I'm just out of it at this point. So, and then the last thing, or actually, I want to talk about this first. They showed off a cool trailer. This guy just walking through the desert, and then he has this robe on, and he's just walking through the desert and just trunking along. And then, this giant robot comes out, and then, he looks up and his, hood goes down, and it's Master Chief. All right. So I kind of called it on that one. Of course, you have to have Master Chief. You have to have a Halo game at the conference. It's a Microsoft conference. Of course they have to have it. But, so yeah, that was pretty cool. And that's all it said. And then, the big giant robot does something, and then the screen goes white, and then the Halo signature comes out, and it just says Halo. It doesn't say Halo 5, doesn't say Halo something else. So maybe they're rebranding Halo, who knows. And then that is really the last. There's maybe a few games that unfortunately I didn't write down here. I must have missed them, but Those are pretty much the games that I remember, on top of my head. And then the last thing that they said was that the system itself, and they gave a price too. So the system itself is 40. We wished $499 US. So it's pretty up there. It's about 500 plus tax. So it's 500 something with tax. So yeah, so it's pretty expensive. But like I said, I think it was about to be around that price. I actually said 450, and I think 450 would have been a little bit better. $50 cheaper would have helped a lot. And then you're paying for Xbox Live too, so it would have been $500. Now you're paying that $500, but $550. And yeah, so and then we'll talk about Sony later and what Sony did with theirs. But anyways, $499 US. And then, they also gave not a specific date, but a specific month. They said November. And rumors are saying that it's going to be maybe in that front end of November, maybe the first or second week of it. So, and that's it. That's for the Xbox One or Microsoft Conference here. If I was to give a letter grade, it would have been, it's an A pretty much. Just this conference itself, and nothing from taken away from the stuff that was announced before that. If you wipe that away itself, I would get the grade for the press conference is a totally A. I mean, it was just like games after games, and they said about that though. They said like E3 is all about games. We're gonna throw games, and that's what they did. And everybody was happy about that. And like I said, A would have been perfect. A plus if something would happen. But like I said, it's still a good grade. And the fact that I was watching Adam Sessler talk about how they kind of kept it safe. They didn't have a game in there that was like super just creative. That like, oh my gosh, what is this? They kept it pretty safe. And but I mean that's okay. You don't need anything to really just knock it out of the park. I mean, you have your racing, you have your shooters, you have your did they show sports? I don't think. Oh man, did they? Anyways, they had their RPG from Witcher, and they had in Dark Souls, and they had just a bunch of stuff accumulated together to make a pretty good conference. And like I said, a perfect grade, or not perfect, but it's still a good score. And then and that's pretty much it. That's the Microsoft conference, and I'll be talking about the PS4 conference next.